This is Frida Knows' gun. As you may have noticed, it says Frida knows his gun. Went missing on October 18th, 2016, and was last known to be in Kennewick, Washington. Last contact was made from Frida on October 18th, 2016 from a give me a second. I do apologize. This is some pretty important stuff. Um, there's Mary Mountain Sheep, used to be Mary Lion Shows, and she died of cancer, but she was so good to me. Okay, she and John know me, and Gilbert, and so many others were so good to me there. And they helped me to understand the situation with the missing people there. But also, I'd been finding missing people for years, regardless of gender, regardless of skin color. Please, please, please help. This is not a joke. These are human beings. I remember this so well. I mean, leaving Virginia was scary. You know, the last time I saw Natalie Bollinger was on my birthday, October 18th, 2016, the exact same day. When Frida Knows' gun went missing, I took note of it. I was in Virginia, she was in Washington, but I used to live in Washington. Let's take a look at this. All right, this is from 2021. This is a documentary filmed in Hardin, highlights missing and, well, murdered Indigenous people. It says people here. A lot of them very specifically will only say missing and murdered Indigenous women. ICE has been picking up Native Americans through all of this situation, at least 4 of them from Pine Ridge Reservation. There's also 6 from a neighboring reservation and 3 of them missing from Crow Agency. So fucking get off your asses. All right, so here's Selena Not Afraid. She also went by Selena Bell. She had an older brother. His name was Preston Bell. He was killed by the police. And we can show that too. She also had a sister, and her sister's name was Teresa. And Teresa was killed in a hit and run outside of the Billings airport. The woman who was with her at the time was also with Selena Not Afraid when Selena Not Afraid went missing. In both occasions, she claimed that she couldn't remember anything. Selena Not Afraid was only 16 years old when she went missing. This is only, I want to say, 9 or 10 months, something like that, after I made the Missing and Murdered Indigenous People, or rather the Missing Women of Hardin, Montana video. And although some of the information that I got in there was wrong, what I saw on the map that was shown to me is a whole bunch of dots in between 2 points. So I had it confused as to which direction Lame Deer was in relation to Hardin, Montana. This is just north of the Little Bighorn River, where Custer got his ass whooped. All right, so this isn't all, though. There is so much more. So much more. It says, her case, highlighting the missing and murdered Indigenous women crisis, saw an arrest in 2024 for criminal endangerment, with family continuing to seek further accountability. Now, when I tell you guys about the I-90 interchange, that's not a joke. Okay, this is human trafficking at its finest. A lot of people go missing along I-90. A lot of people. It's a hell of a place for human trafficking. There's a man there with a red step-side pickup, probably late 40s, I believe. And he specifically likes boys, but I think he'd settle for a girl. These are some of the finest people I ever met in that area. Treated me like family even though I was a stranger. When Mary Mountain Sheep came home and found out that the people that were staying at her house had invited a stranger into the house, she wasn't mad at the stranger, who was me. She was mad at John Nomi, who had invited me. And she was so loving and caring and gave me absolutely no harm. And her and Gilbert and John Nomi, they took me to their grandmother's house. And that woman, Miss Wolf, is so sweet. I mean, maybe not in a traditional sense, because sometimes when you got ruffians in your house and it's 3 a.m., sometimes you got to lay down the law, and she did. And they listened. Robert Alvin Morning Bromley III was charged with criminal endangerment for leaving her and another person stranded. It says MMIW movement. Her case drew national attention to the high rate of missing and murdered Indigenous women, particularly in Montana. Family history. Selena's death was one of several tragic losses for her family within a few years, including her siblings. That's right. It also includes her twin sister. Her twin sister's name was Chloe Not Afraid, and she was the youngest suicide in Montana history. She killed herself at 11 years of age, and we're going to look that up. I hope I didn't get that wrong. I am terrible with names, and you know it. I am wrong. Zoe, I am so sorry. I knew it. Zoe Not Afraid. SD2 releases investigation into sixth grader's death, November 17th, 2014, and reports school district's harassment me. Four years ago, they finally spoke about Zoe in prison. 'So that's what happened with Selena's twin sister, and Billings sergeant details after effects of an officer in June 6, 2022, 19 Billings Police Department officers are on mandatory administrative leave after two officer-involved shootings. This is what they say every time, isn't it? That the shooting was justified. Authorities identify man fatally shot by police in Billings, November 21st, 2017. This is right before Natalie died too. This is while I was speaking out about the abuse I was taking. They don't talk about Two Dogs Jr., do they? Yeah. So I remember this stuff, you know. I mean, and then fucking A. So of course those are true. We'll see. Yeah. Teenage sisters identified in fatal airport road crash. That was from 2025. We're looking for one that's a bit older. Um, July 30th, 2018. The Billings Gazette reports 22-year-old Tristan Gray was found dead early Saturday morning in the eastbound lane of Montana Highway 3 near. Yeah, this is the reality. Let's go to my channel. We'll go to the very top. We'll go missing person by missing person, okay? This is Janessa Ray Funkhauser, Tillamook, Portland, Oregon. Contact Sarah Dione 909-295-0717. The next one down is about Janessa Ray Funkhauser as well. I don't know if she's safe or not. Missing Jenny Hamilton of Oregon. I don't. It didn't let me post. It's still upcoming. The Alicia Bollinger going missing. Selena Not Afraid going missing. David and Katie Saltzman. They're missing from. Well, let's go from where they're missing from. So Janessa Ray Funkhauser's missing from Tillamook, Oregon. I did hear some word from some street folks, Gabby and her boyfriend, that she was possibly down by Burnside. But that was 2 years ago. I don't remember about Jenny Hamilton, but she's got a prosthetic leg, and there is some contact information that's from 2 years ago. Alicia Bollinger went missing in Wichita, Kansas, because she was on a drug bender with her dad, and he got his car wrecked by the police. This is from Selena Not Afraid. This is 6 years ago. 6 years ago, Selena Not Afraid disappeared, and yeah, goddamn right I said something. Goddamn right, as soon as I heard something, I started speaking up immediately. There's 2,500 viewers on that one, so people did care. They tried so hard. David and Katie Saltzman are missing from Beaverton, Oregon. They're actually part of the reason that I came here to Oregon. They went missing right after Katie Saltzman said that she was going to come all the way to Nebraska to help me to sort through evidence. I actually have something that Katie Saltzman gave me. I'm sorry, I'm trying to dig it out. It probably doesn't have any battery left on it, but if it does, I can show you some of the stalking by James Murphy. I'm sorry it's dead. David and Katie Saltzman sent me this and the recording device that the Tillamook Police Department never returned to me. I got that from a guy in Caledonia, well, Scotland, um, and his name is Daniel Apathy. Anyway, I'm sorry that the iPad is dead, but I got that from David and Katie Saltzman, and um, this is from 4 years ago. This is the reason I came to Oregon in specific. When I had to flee Nebraska due to abuse by the Dual County Sheriff's Department, them trying to have me pegged as schizophrenic and delusional so they could lock me up long enough to destroy their body camera evidence. And then they repeatedly did everything they could to threaten, harass, and intimidate me over and over again in Chapel, Nebraska. So I needed help. When David and Katie Saltzman went missing, um, it was while there was a fire going on in Beaverton, and with them going missing, people threatening to kill my friends and family, the fact that the people that I had in Chapel, Nebraska to talk to were all on either pharmaceuticals, alcohol, or fucking meth. Like, what do I have in common with these people? So I'm still looking for David and Katie Saltzman. Their two children are missing as well. Alicia Bollinger is missing. You've already seen that one today. Frida knows his gun from 4 years ago. Of course, I scream and shout. Another one with Janessa Ray Funkhauser, missing Tillamook to Burnside. Janessa Ray Funkhauser missing since August 2nd, 2023. So I was here for that, by the way. I was here in Tillamook when that was happening. That contact is at one of the hotels. They weren't so nice to me at that hotel, but that's all right. I got to meet Tyler there, and I like him. Missing Renee Amelia Richards from South Dakota. You guys might actually be familiar with that case. This is about Casey Perry, um, also known as Casey Kirwan. Um, she she's the one who had the brain stent, and here's another missing one about Selena Shelley Not Afraid. 12,000 views from 6 years ago. You goddamn right. If you're gonna make me a fucking villain, I'm gonna use that shit to get heard. Here's Casey Perry. That's Casey Kirwan. Um, that was from 6 years ago. This one's about missing people just from the last 2 weeks. At that point, it was 4 years ago. Here's Tommy White, 21. He went missing on my sister's birthday in 2023. That would be October 14th. He died. Still speaking up 5 years ago. David Rojas from Wilhelmina, Oregon, still missing. More on Selena Not Afraid and Alicia Bollinger. Speaking about a few of the missing people that I've known. Stephanie Larkin. Stephanie Larkin is a woman who also, I don't know if she's missing or not. She contacted me over the Natalie Bollinger situation, and we were sort of getting along, but she has addictions that really made it difficult to communicate. Another one for Janessa Ray Funkhauser from 2 years ago. I kept crying. Okay, Emily Grace Hahn. She was missing 3 years ago from Hood River, Oregon. I believe I was in a parking space next to her. She was actually missing from the Dalles, Oregon. She was staying in her car next to where I was staying. She actually got a hold of me on one of my videos and told me, thank you for helping to find her. So she's safe. 44-year-old Daniel Baker of Redding, California, since September 13th, at-risk adult. That was 2 years ago. I don't know if he's been found or not. The missing women of Hardin, Montana. This is from 3 years ago. Sarah stops pretty places. I also, in that video, I think I talk about Sarah stops pretty places and Selena Not Afraid. I try to bring up Frida Noses Gun in all of these if I can try to keep focused on it. There's also Henny Scott. I mean, Henny Scott's the one that really, really got people some attention. But missing David and Katie Saltzman, Beaverton, Oregon. Updates on other missing people 4 years ago. 2 missing videos at least from 5 years ago. If you are missing a loved one, let me know and I will post it. If you're missing a loved one, you have my ear and my voice. Found a missing person, also Ukraine and Russia, the United States. That's got political crap in it. Claire Jordan is no longer missing. I'm super excited. More than 1 in 5 U.S. adults live with a mental illness. Over 1 in 5 youth ages 13 to 18, either currently or at some point during their life, have had a serious debilitating mental illness. About 1 in 25 U.S. adults lives with a serious mental illness, such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or major depression. Another missing person reached out to me today. I believe that may have been the one with Miss Hahn. Of course, I always speak about the missing and murdered Indigenous women. This one right here from 6 years ago is, again, about Hardin, Montana. This one right here, reminder about Tommy White of Garibaldi, Oregon, a missing person who ended up dead. The missing lady of Tillamook, Oregon. I did later find out that woman's name. Casey Perry actually went missing on 2 separate occasions, just so you know. Thank goodness she's still alive and she was able to get her surgery. Hardin, Montana, there is still apparently another young woman missing since before Christmas from 6 years ago. When a loved one goes missing since December 28th from the Pine Ridge area. Robert Kills Enemy Jr. and Vincent Little Dog. They're both dead. So, yeah, you can go ahead and run your mouths all you want. This stuff is happening all over the United States. It's not just happening in Boulder, Colorado, or Tillamook, Oregon, or Hardin, Montana. I used to live in Pine Ridge area. I went to Pine Ridge Job Corps Center. You know, my mom decided that doing cocaine with a child molester was a good form of parenting, so I ditched that bitch. Alicia Bollinger going missing 6 years ago with her dad. We posted up the links from the K County News about that. I mean, there is so much. Missing and murdered Indigenous women and how I got involved. Deborah G. and the missing Daniel Apathy. So Daniel Apathy, a woman was pretending to be his mother at one point and harassing me on YouTube. Same thing with several others. Revisiting the missing women of Hardin, Montana. Missing Leanne Patterson, Boise, Idaho, since February 7th. Dead and missing is not a race. Missing actual law enforcement when they are actually needed. Missing Jenny Angwood Hamilton, missing woman 5 from Tillamook. Missing Eric Radley. Today is his birthday. He is a friend. This is a guy named Hero, or at least that's what we called him. Eric Radley, he finally got a hold of his mom. Like I said, you know, when people go missing, I tell them to go find their mom. Go call your mom. Go call your... Bobby Forrest actually went missing for a bit too. Um, that's Katie Saltzman. Um, there's just so many of these. Clean up. Uh, so, 7 years ago, before all that other bullshit, this is my first video on this subject.
I'm in Hardin, Montana.
I don't care what happens to me. I care about what happens to my evidence. The rest of it don't matter. Whether I rot in a cage for the rest of my life or somebody puts an end to it tomorrow, I just hope to God somebody looks at this evidence.
I've been talking with some folks around here since I got here. I've been kind of being a taxi, taking people to their homes, places like that. Real poverty. There's a road that goes along I-90 that heads west of here, and they take a path south into farm country there, and we find a lot of missing people down there. Mostly women, mostly younger women. Just like everywhere else in America, they got a drug problem here, but they, like I said, everywhere in America. There's
Oregon,
people with
Chapel,
exposure,
Nebraska.
the same thing that the Boulder Police Department does. They drive them out there in the wintertime. We're talking 20, 30 miles from anywhere. They drop them off in the weather. There's an issue with the police not wanting to take reports here. They say things like, well, it's not illegal for somebody to leave. You know, maybe they just went off. So they got the Bureau of Indian Affairs here. I don't know if they do things differently or not. It's only a few miles from Crow Agency. Custer's Last Stand, so don't worry all of that. Apparently there's over 100 missing people in the area. They find bodies every so often. The most popular one recently, December 13th, a woman named Henny Scott disappeared. She was 13 years of age. Another woman in the area who was found deceased. Her last name was Noses Gun. There's a lot of people missing from this area that are not reported. You can go into the sheriff's department, you can go into the library, you can go all sorts of places. You see that there's a major problem here, and it's not just here. It is everywhere. But there are so many missing people from this area, and there are so few people here. I mean, it's not a big city. This isn't Billings. This isn't Boulder. Boulder isn't even a big city. In a lot of places, they wouldn't even consider Denver a big city. They're brown, so nobody cares. Disgusting. It's a lot like being homeless. You don't have rights. People say, well, you just got to deal with it. Some folks that I gave a ride home last night, the place they had me take them isn't their home. And the people who own the home showed up and surprised me with it's not the people I came home with house. They had me take me to their grandmother's house. And I've been here hearing stories of missing people since I got here. Missing person after missing person after missing person. They find their bones out there over in the farming country to the west, just off of that road. We want to get rid of everything in the United States that doesn't look pretty, everything that will reduce our standing as a nation, or our property value, or our standing as a nation is nothing if we're allowing these things to happen. If we're turning a blind eye to them, our standing as a nation means nothing if we're choosing money over human lives. Our standing as a nation, I don't want to hear about that anymore. I'm tired of all of this terrible stuff happening and nobody doing anything about it. And we can do something about it. There's a map of where they've found a lot of these bodies, and they're all along a couple of roads about 20 miles to the west, 20 or 30 miles. A lot of them. I mean, there's dot after dot after dot where people were taken out there. A lot of times they tell them, well, they probably got drunk and walked out there and got lost. No, they're not going to walk that way. There's nothing out there for them to walk to.
No shoes, no blankets.
I'm going to do some research. I'll see what I can come up with and do some reporting on it. I do need to get my story about myself and Natalie and everything that we went through, mostly what I went through, because for the last 2 years, Natalie was not a part of my life. Her hurts were. But this video isn't about me and Natalie. It's about the missing natives in the area here at Hardin, missing women mostly.
We'll hit the cancel button because there's more to see. There's 86 comments because a lot of people took them down. Ryan Wilkinson Jr. is Mandy Singer's son, the one that I posted about going missing the very same day that Natalie Bollinger went missing, and the same day that I asked for prayers for a woman named Shauna Sinclair, whose daughter was stolen by the child's dad. This guy was pretty nice. Glad someone is on the same wavelength. I've just come across the most recent one that has happened, and it seems to be more behind it all. Stay safe. Thank you for speaking out. God bless you and yours. Prayers all going through this nightmare. This person typed, I been to Hardin. It's a small town. I did reply to him. It certainly is, but it's a lot bigger than Chapel, Nebraska. Yeah, Chapel, Nebraska is 500 people. So at first, people were real nice. You know, this person typed, well said, thanks for sharing. That is so damn horrific. Just tragic that no one is doing a damn thing about these teenagers and a woman. It's atrocious. Prayers to those poor souls. I hope whomever hurt them dies painfully. Prayers to their families. Just heartbreaking. See, this part right here where people are wishing death and then talking about prayers. That is so gross. I mean, I get where she's coming from, but it's just so gross. I definitely let her know a little bit about my opinion on that. Of course, someone calling themselves Butterfly Rule. There's 45 replies with this. Her and I went back and forth a bit. I've been saying there's a serial killer or 2 or 3 out there for a long time. Hardin has always been a bad place And yes, it's highly looked over and hid under the rugs. Well, not anymore. Not anymore, it's not. It's from 6 years ago. I had a lot of people that were typing and saying some pretty horrible things. But despite the horrible things that they were saying, I kept speaking up. This person calls herself Amanda Perry. Type, there has to be a reason you're named a person of interest. Now, these folks, of course, they'd already started typing mean stuff in there by then, but we were trying to ignore them. And of course, I was taking screenshots and getting rid of the assholes. She typed, trust me, people been disappearing long before you showed up. It ain't you. Who has him named as a person of interest? I'm very interested because I live here. I know this girl's family. Well, I was actually living in Chapel, Nebraska with Dallas Richmond, who was fucking drunk all the goddamn time. So I feel you, sister. And more replies. You goddamn right I spoke up. There's a few people on here who obviously you can't see their names because their comments aren't on here anymore. So we were talking about the step side that I was telling you about. He wanted me to touch myself in his vehicle. Of course, I did type out the story here. I don't remember what his name was. It might have been Jack, but it was almost 5 years ago. I do remember that a man and his son, both Crow, were in the parts store that day. They gave me a ride back to Bighorn River where my Corsica was broken down. That was the Chevy Corsica that I got from Rory Jepson in Chapel, Nebraska, and Fred Cammy Eamon Jepson. I had whoever put it back together didn't put the dust cover on when they put the starter back to the engine. So when I stopped there outside of Hardin, I picked up a rock and it got stuck behind the little piston thing that engages. So it stayed engaged. And when I started driving off, right after they'd left me so I could fix it, the father had bought me a whole bunch of tools so that I could fix my vehicle. Like they made me feel loved there. So yeah, when I got back to my car and got it fixed and started it up and that goddamn thing tore off, I couldn't fix it. I had to give it away to a guy there. And well, he actually, I believe he said he lived in Buffalo, which is in Wyoming. That's also where the lady who let me know about Selena Not Afraid going missing was from. Her name was Christy Monet. There's just so much. There's Facebook links to evidence in here from the comments with her, because like all of these people deserve a voice. You know, every one of these people, they don't deserve to be treated like animals. They don't deserve to be treated like they're less than human beings. Regardless of their skin color, they are still human beings. And of course, the first missing person that I ever helped to find was my little sister in 2012. My little sister's name is Tara. And people threatening her and my niece is definitely not an okay thing to do. It says top is selected. So even though there's a lot of negative comments in here, we don't have to read them all. That's one of the things about cleaning it up over time. I don't always have the ability to clean up every single one of them, but I do my best. This guy says his cousin is Mary Lee Not Afraid, and we're searching for Selena. So, yeah, they came to this site too. A lot of people did. Of course, this guy wants to pretend I was just arrested as the prime suspect in the missing woman case. No, the person who killed Natalie is in fucking prison for it. His name is Joseph Michael Lopez. And this guy here, let him know that he looked it up. I'm not in jail, obviously. Some of these folks ended up getting Facebook bans. It was pretty weird. And of course, they wanted to continue to pretend I was a suspect in a missing persons case, even though, well, first of all, this person is actually in some of those Natalie Bollinger groups. So this person already knows that Natalie Bollinger's killer has been found. He's just trolling. Over and over and over again, I called who I was told to. I actually have recordings of calling the Billings FBI. I've got recordings with the FBI in a lot of different parts of the country, actually. They're a bunch of cock-sucking weenies. If they want to suck cock, that's fine. I'm not against that. They can do what they want. But I'm not okay with them being weenies. Cowardice in law enforcement is an offense that they could and should be fired for. I've been speaking out for a lot of years, and I've been speaking out for a reason. Somebody needs to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Somebody has to speak out. When Rand Ingersoll was beating them kids, let me show you what ended up happening with that. Not that anybody's going to care. We're making this video a long one. I'm going to stop for just a moment, and I'm going to read some of this. This guy calling himself Josh typed, "Are these people still threatening you, Sean?" Oh, God, they always find a way to do so. I'm in a tent in somebody's backyard, so I'm reasonably safe. He also typed, "Said hi." He also typed, "Do you fear death, Sean?" I kind of answered that, but no, not death itself. That's certainly not a fearful thing for me. It's not death itself that I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that my evidence isn't going to get seen, and that the predators are going to get away, and they're going to continue to do it to more people, as the evidence with Waylon Molotai has shown, as the evidence with Clearview Behavioral Health has shown, as the evidence with Lincoln Correction Center and Sarah Nelson Torciello and Michelle Decini. Well, those things need to be seen. They need to be known. Then Josh typed, "Thought so, no fear." No, that's absolutely not the case. I do have fear. Everyone has fear. If someone tells you they have no fear, they're a liar. You can say they're either crazy or a liar, but no, they're always a liar in that case. All right, so I had, oh yes, on this old ass phone that has no service, it says Bluetooth share sent files. I wonder how many years ago I tried to send that. Friday, December 25th. Jesus, that's an old phone. Josh typed, "How cold is your squat?" Well, it's warmer than outside, that's for certain. I'm not in any danger of dying of exposure, although it's the primary cause of death in Boulder, Colorado and Denver, Colorado, for homeless people. Same thing with Dayton, Ohio, Well, actually, a lot of places. Freezing to death is horrible. They used to have a meat truck, like when you have a traveling salesman, like a Schwann's truck in Chapel, Nebraska. They come deliver you food. They got one of those, and it's white in Washington State, downtown Seattle, and it drives around and picks dead people off of the park benches. We really don't fucking matter. In Boulder, Colorado, we've got an officer named Waylon. Sorry, not Waylon Lolatai. Um, God, what was that douchebag's name? He was always trying to tell people that Michael Pennington was a narc, that Michael Pennington snitched on him, that Michael Pennington had said something that was obviously an outright lie. One of those dudes came at me. He went by Shadow, but his girlfriend or wife or whatever, Shea Burton, she got quite a story to tell about him. She was pretty much a horrible excuse for a human being while she was married to him. She liked the fact that she could push people around and bully people. Well, her husband, Theo, who calls himself Shadow, got straight up bitched by Michael Pennington. So he went down to the Pearl Street Mall and decided that he was going to wield a sword and talk about how he was going to use that sword and exactly who he was going to use it against. Of course, I'd seen Michael Pennington bitch the boy more than once. Violence ain't no joke. The drug culture ain't no joke. These people are sick. I don't mean sick like perverts, although some of them are. I mean sick as in they got some pretty sick stuff going on in their heads. There were people who saw that stuff about Selena Not Afraid and had nothing to do but make horrible fucking jokes. Now let's go ahead and go to the videos right here. Go to the oldest ones. When it came to the situation with Natalie Bollinger when she went missing, this is how I got treated. There's a shit ton of evidence here. This is the very beginning of just the videos section. And there are a whole bunch of witnesses by name, actual recordings with them, who they were involved with in the Natalie Bollinger situation. It's not just Hardin, Montana. It's not just Boulder, Colorado. It's not just Chesapeake, Virginia. I mean, we're looking at recording after recording after recording with witnesses in the situation that should have come forward but were cowards. There's a lot more. Lady on the front of this is Frida Nose's gun. She disappeared. I thought she had disappeared from Spanaway, but that wasn't correct, apparently. Spanaway or Kirkland. But there's also the Tri-Cities area that was mentioned, and Spokane, which I was in when I went to Washington State. I'm glad that Emily or Mrs. Hahn got a hold of me to let me know that she was safe. I'm glad that Casey Kirwan got a hold of me and helped me how she could. I remember her from when she was so tiny. Her mom died when she was just a few days old, and that is not a joke. Her mom's name was Brooke Beardsley. Matter of fact, I think while we're on here, I'm going to show you Brooke Beardsley. Brooke Beardsley was not really my friend. She was mean. She was dating a friend of mine named Brandon Jepson. And then she got pregnant, and she was super nice to me all of a sudden. I don't know what it was. So that was so long ago. I'm not even sure if they'd have had her on the internet. Let's see. Beardsley is the uncle who let me know that Casey was missing. I've learned some things about her dad that, well, those are Casey's stories to tell. Brooke Beardsley, Sydney, Nebraska. We found it. Her mom was into witchcraft. She was pretty strange. Her dad worked at Cabela's, and he made a lot of money, had a pretty decent guitar collection. One of the Beardsley boys actually shot a friend of mine in the head with a 22 long rifle while they were fucking around at night with Amy Kalina Kingery. She's in here too. Greenwood Cemetery, Brooke Beardsley, 12/28/2018. Brooke Beardsley phone numbers and addresses. Let's see if it was in the news. Of course, that was so many years ago. We're probably not going to find her. That's kind of sad too. So, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You just gotta be tenacious as fuck. And, the cops aren't always the good guys. Sometimes they jump to conclusions and they make big mistakes. Just like any of the rest of you. When it comes to fear, I absolutely have fear. When I left Virginia, I had to fear for Natalie Bollinger. Had to fear for what she was going to be stuck with and going back to without a friend. She didn't have any real friends. When I was in Hardin, Montana, there were people that treated me well because culturally that's what they were taught to do.